Hello, let's see what we have here today. So I've decided to do just a pop-up stream today. It can be readings, it can be questions, it could be looking around the room, all that other wonderful stuff. Ooh, see, I've got an extra camera up there. One that can actually look and see the rest of my office. So, hello again, how are you? So I thought I would do another pop-up. I did a pop-up tarot the other day when I was on vacation because I actually missed doing the meetings and stuff. You can certainly get a card. So let me ask you a question. Is there anything particular that you would like to know? Something you've been wondering about, something in particular that you've been feeling? Oh, my pleasure. And I'm even going to do this a little bit. There. So, what would you like a reading on today? Anything particular, or you just want general? Yes, okay. What would you like? I'm going to let you pick the question. Will you receive your inheritance? So I tell you what. Yes or no questions are often vague. So how about if we go with what do you need to know in regards to this inheritance? What do you need to know in regard to this inheritance? Tell you what, I'm going to set that deck aside. I'm going to go with the old Marseille style for a question like this. Are you hoping to get it soon? Okay, so the question is what do we need to know about Van Dyke's inheritance? And I'm going to use the Marseille deck because that's the old deck. It's the original deck. So let's flip this over. Okay. So I'm going to make 3 stacks here. Hopefully we don't have too much of a lag. But I want you to pick one of these stacks because each one of these is a thread going out to the universe. And each one of these threads is going to be a different conversation because picking 1 will be a different conversation than 3. So we have 1, 2, and 3. Whichever one you pick is the conversation we'll have. So, which one would you like? 1, 2, or 3? Well, that happens a lot. Is there a big lag going on? The middle one, okay. So we're going to see what's actually at the heart and in the middle of everything. Okay, so I'm going to start off here with the classic 3 and 1. Okay. So we have the Knight of Swords. So Knights are about energy. It's about movement. And we have this sword here, so it's about running with an idea. And here we have the Chariot. And the Chariot is about using your self-will. It's about reaching inside and making things happen. And we have the Ten of Wands. And so wands are a fiery suit that, if you can imagine, you pick up one log, it weighs enough and you can carry it, you can do it, you can do what you want with it. You pick up 2, you pick up 3. By the time you get to 10 logs, it really starts weighing on you. Okay? And in the advice, we have the Page of Coins. So I see that this thing is going on, this mental thing just running with it, and a lot of self-will run riot, and people trying, the one thing about the Chariot is that's somebody who's trying to get their way, or trying to force issues. Okay? And the thing about the Knight is that this is a Court card. That means it can be us, it can be somebody else, or it can be a situation. But I think that the way that I'm seeing this here is that I see this struggle, and there's this self-will that's in the middle. And the burden is being put over here on this side. So I can see the drive and the need and just the thinking and the planning and trying to figure this out. But all that self-will is creating all this stress and everything else that goes with it. But with the advice, it's the Page of Coins. Pages are innocence. They're young. The Page of Coins is about taking what he has and doing what he can with it, learning with it and growing. So I think that what we're seeing here is that I see the strain that it's putting, and I can see the self-will, that everybody's implying here. And ultimately, it's just going to keep causing that strain because all that self-will and everything. So for me, when I see this page here, it's about coming at it with a fresh view, a fresh idea. So will you get the inheritance? Well, the Page of Coins is saying yes. But the struggle that's going on, I don't want to say is it worth it, but I want to say that the page is just this person that can start over new. And we don't want to weigh the page down with all the stuff from the past and everything else. Does that make sense? I mean, we can weigh the page down with the Ten of Coins. We can make this all a burden. Or the page is saying that we can work through this. But we have to let go of that burden so that we can actually make, something fruitful from what we do get. But the big thing is that the major here is all that self-will. And that is what's going to cause all the problems and cause all the burden. Is that making sense for you, Van Dyke? pretty much asking for you to recognize the stress that's going on with everybody. Well, absolutely. Okay. No, I understand. But what I'm saying is that the page is saying that you're going to get it. But you can expect that it's just going to pile up all the stress and everything. So your question was, are you going to get it or not? I'm going to say the page is saying yes. But I'm also saying that, yeah. And you know what? If all that stress and everything's worth it for you, that's the Knight of Swords. Oop. That's the Knight of Swords. That is somebody who charges in. They come up with the idea, they charge in, and they do what they need to do. Just expect, I mean, just be prepared for all that stress. Okay? So, and I hope that it's under good circumstances that you're getting it. And I hope you get a chance to do some good with it too. Don't forget that. It's one of the reasons why I do readings for free and I'm not charging anything. It's because I'm hoping that people do good out there. You know? So that's very important. So, any questions or anything like that? I can show decks. I can do readings. I can talk about the tarot. Any questions? Oh, you're very welcome. So I tell you, while people are making decisions here, and I don't know how much of a lag there is, but let's see. I'm trying something new today. You're a born humanitarian? I had to learn it for me. For me, it was I was not raised to be a humanitarian. I had to like hit a brick wall. I had to like hit rock bottom. I had to like do the full crash and then make a decision what I want to do. But good, I am glad to hear that. So let's see. If I was to do this, this is now my portable camera. So now I have the ability to not only in this room, which as you can see, this is my room, but I can also take it on the fly. But here's where I have all my cards. And this is books on the history of tarot and dealing with the Marseille. And then we've got more down here. And then this is where I put my favorite decks. Here's where I have a lot of the Rider-Waite stuff, as well as more books on just the history and learning. And then here's more decks here. More decks here. More decks here. And then more decks here. So, yeah. So if anybody's looking for books or advice or anything like that, we can certainly talk about that too. So, we've got 3 viewers on here. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe. You can click down there. So, who's got a question? Who's got an answer? Who would like a reading? Who would like something? I tell you, this was a lifelong passion for me. I had seen The War of the Worlds with George Pal. And it was this whole Victorian setup. And I just connected with it. And so I started reading pre-1930 books when I was a kid. And I just had always wanted to have a Victorian or 1920s Victorian reading room. So my whole house is pretty much like that too. So I've got a whole bunch of oddities and stuff like that and all this other setup. So What about you, Van Dyke? Do you actually read tarot? Oh, and if anybody else is interested, I am doing readings. I am asking questions. I am here for you. So do you also do readings, Van Dyke? So I had started when I was 20. And it's funny because I learned how to read keywords. But I did not realize until just a few years ago, because it never felt intuitive. It always felt like I was memorizing and stuff like that. And then a few years ago, all of a sudden it started turning into this thing where I felt like I was reading a book where it just became instinctive. And so the thing is that, especially if people are learning to read the tarot, it's just hanging in there. And it's kind of like translating Homer for the first time. If you don't understand Greek and you try and translate Homer, you're going to have a dictionary right there beside you the whole way. But eventually, if you learn Greek, it'll just read like a book. And so that's what the tarot is the tarot is that a lot of people will start with the keywords, with the guidebooks. And I actually have a video on how to read the tarot intuitively without using the keywords. So my first Rider-Waite I keep here also. Where did I stick you at? So I keep my Rider-Waite close by. So hi, Mecca. Is that how you pronounce it? And the answer is absolutely yes. I am here today just because I miss having that contact with people. So what would you like to know, Mecca? Anything in particular? I can put a link to the video, or if you just go in there and look under my lessons in the playlist for YouTube, it's Understanding the Tarot Without a Keyword. So, understanding the tarot without keywords. So what happens is that I learned how to tell stories with it. Will your ex-Capricorn return? Will your ex-Capricorn return? Let's see, what deck do I want to use for that? Will your ex-Capricorn return? Let's see. So, it's a darn good question. And I have the deck for that. If I can find it. Ah, there it is. Okay. So this, it's an animal spirit deck. And for relationship and things like that, I just get a lot from it. Because for questions like this, it doesn't have people in it. It's all about nature and all this other wonderful stuff. So, yes, Boba, those are all Ouija boards. I actually have even more Ouija boards downstairs. I have over 100 historical Ouija boards hanging on my walls. Starting all the way back to 1891. Which is the first year that the official Ouija board came out. But in here I have some William Fold, who created the original Ouija board. These are some variations. And I've got some British, French boards and things like that. Got a few of the 1940, let me see. That's a 1920s probably. So, yep. Is it Mika or Mecca? Mika. M-E-E? So I'm going to go with, what do you need to know about your ex and if they return? I don't know if I have anything to teach. I just like reading the cards, and I just like people. Mika. Cool. I want to try and be polite. So Mika, what do we need to know? I'm not going to do the yes or no. I'm going to do a what do we need to know. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to do something. This is not a spread that actually always answers questions, but it's called the French Cross. It's one of the original spreads, and it's actually more designed to make you think, because when it comes to relationships and things like that, yes or no and all this other stuff, sometimes it's better to have something to think on. Because sometimes getting what we want is not always what we need. Sometimes we don't know what we need or what we want. I'm making sure that this, yes, okay, so the deck is reversed. I'm going to actually do this, set up a few more reversals in there for you, Mika. So let's do the French cross, Mika. This is the situation. This is what could be getting in your way, or what we need to look out for. This is the outcome. This is what's underneath it all. This is what you might not be seeing. And this has an influence on everything. Okay? So we start out with the Eight of Wands. The Eight of Swords, which eights are about progress and moving forward. But when you get to the swords, which are mental, by this point, it's hard to move on. It's hard to get that motivation. So let's take a look at, oh man. So here we have the swords again, which, as you see this is the Nine of Swords, but reversed. And this is the anxiety card. So far, Mika, I'm seeing this thing about not being able to move on and anxiety that could be building up, or it ebbs and flows. What's underneath it all is the Lovers reversed. So the Lovers is usually about a choice to be made. When it's reversed, it means that there may be issues with making that choice. And again, the way I'm seeing it is that it's an inability to move forward and the anxiety that goes with that. For the outcome, I see the Four of Cups reversed. So fours are generally about stability, long-term stability. But with the Four of Cups reversed, it just shows that there's a lot that has to be worked on. You know, because you've got all these anxiety cards here about a choice, about things that are out of your control, because again, this is underneath. This is just an underlying factor. And I'm going to turn this over. And that is interesting, because this kind of changes everything. And the fact that, okay, Mika, this is the heart of everything. It's the sun. This card touches all the other ones. This is what is inside you. This is what is important. These are what's weighing you down. I almost want to think that you already know the answer, but you need to make that decision, and that's the anxiety. But this tells me that the sun is about as positive as you can get, and this is the heart of everything. So, Mika, you already have an idea of the answer. The only thing holding you back one way or the other is you. Does that make sense? And again, as I said in the beginning with this spread, I generally don't find answers with this spread, but I find vision, I find a clarity kind of thing. So, but I hope one way or the other, again, this landing as the heart of this spread right here is the entire tale. Okay? So, how about anybody else out there? I can answer questions. I can go through decks. I can do readings. I am here for you guys. What you got today? Oh, and don't forget to subscribe, which is, where's it at? There it is. That's to subscribe. So that when I do pop-ups like this, you can find it. And I now have like over 215 videos, if you can believe that. In case some of y'all don't know, I do a daily meditation Monday through Friday. You'd like a reading from one of my first decks. Oh, so that is interesting. I've never had anybody ask that. That is interesting. Because you know what? I never pull that deck out. It's rare. You know, I do it occasionally. But that is interesting. So, let's go find that deck. So, here's where I keep a lot of my old decks. And this one right here, in this old beat up bag. I've had this deck since I was in my 20s. That is funny, funny, funny. So. Oh, and Mika, you are so very, 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 very welcome. I just like the fact that the sun came up as the center, as the heart of everything. Because that's just a sign that either way, no matter what, you've got everything you need. So, look at this old torn bag here. That is so good. Can I even close it anymore? I'm just looking to see if the drawstring's on there. So, my friend. I know. So what would you like to know? What is your question? This is a reading from my oldest deck. Yeah, look at the sides. Look at how grungy that is. That is a lot of just sitting there, and they feel like butter now, though. They do. Why do you dream? What is going on in there? As far as why to dream about teeth falling out. Tell you what, I'm going to do this. Since I haven't touched this deck in a while, I'm going to do the reversals. Dreams about why teeth are falling out. 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 Very interesting. The way I'm going to do this is that I'm going to do it one card at a time because one card may help give us the answer. So we're going to look at this in phases. Okay? But this is the situation. The Queen of Swords reversed. So queens are water. Queens are that emotions that we go through and all the feelings. And the swords are about intellect and thought. But here we have the Queen of Swords reversed. So just imagine if we have all this anxiety and all this feeling and all this stuff reversed. You can imagine a queen, all the negative emotions that a queen can have. And then you have the swords, which is thought. So that's biting, that's hard, that's cutting. So this is and the court cards can be a person. It could be us. It could be a situation. Okay? But this is absolutely about the emotions and cutting. Talking about teeth and biting. I mean, swords are. So right now, this seems to be, and cards are gender neutral. But I need to ask you, Boba, is this relating somehow or another? Is this triggering something? Is this making you think of something? Because the Queen of Swords is a very emotional card, and again, it's very biting. That sword reversed just cuts. Oh, that's okay. And for other people to know, so I'm also streaming live on Twitch at the same time. So you may not see the questions as I'm talking, and Boba is on Twitch right now. And for people on Twitch, my main format is with YouTube. So if you just put in MyTarot.org into YouTube, you type that and you hit enter in the search, I pop up. And that's where I have all my schedules and stuff. But for people who aren't seeing Boba's questions, that's because he is on Twitch right now. So, are you back with us, Boba? And did you catch what I was saying? Your dad had a heart attack on vacation when you were younger. You dreamt of teeth falling out, and your grandpa passed away. Was there tension? Well, I tell you what, because again, this card is about all the anxiety and emotion, and it's just that all that goes with it. So the next two cards I have here deal with the past. Okay? And it's about our world being turned upside down. This is the far past. This is the near past. And we have the Seven of Swords again. So we have the swords here. And these two cards are looking at each other right now. So when our world gets turned upside down, sometimes people behave, act, do things that they normally wouldn't. Like this person walking away with these swords here normally would not behave that way. But with the swords are a hard suit. And so I'm seeing that it's like when our world gets turned upside down, I can see people acting like they normally wouldn't. And I can see a whole scenario set up of stress and a whole scenario of anger and a whole scenario of acting out. So this is the near future, which we have another 7 here, which is the 7 of Cups. And the 7 of Cups, 7s are about potential. 7s are about moving forward, seeing things. And sometimes when we're dealing with, when things get turned upside down, when it affects us to where maybe we would do things we normally wouldn't, then all this uncertainty creeps in and all these wishes for shoulda, woulda, coulda. So from what I'm seeing right here is that reason why you're going through dreams like that is because of all the shoulda, woulda, couldas. We have the world turned upside down. We have angers and resentments. We have maybe we've done things that would cause us to be anxious and upset. And then here we have, this isn't about having tangibles. This is about shoulda, woulda, couldas. But it's not about doing anything practical. So I'm going to do 2 more cards here. Because I want to see what's underneath it all and the direction that you're going. Okay. So this is not an outcome. This is, if we keep doing what we're doing, where will we go? So underneath all this, Five of Coins is traditionally about health. It could be finances. It could be home. But underneath it, there's something that is sick. Not well, I don't want to use that word because that's not right, but unwell. And I think because of maybe something mental going on, something not being dealt with. And the Seven of Cups shows when we're not dealing with something. So I'm going to do where we're going with this. Page of Pentacles. It's saying that it's just going to keep happening unless something changes. It's just going to keep happening. The Page of Pentacles, the page upright, will take that coin and start something new. He's ready to start something new. But when the page is reversed, nothing's going to happen. So there's an underlying factor that's not being dealt with. And there is something that is maybe some type of it's not anxiety, it's almost like an anger or a resentment. So, well, good. Okay, so Boba says, okay, well, first off, they said my dad had a heart attack, which I'm sorry about, while on vacation. And when I was younger, I dreamt of teeth falling out, and my grandpa passed away, which is always tough. I had the same thing. So, and then Boba comes back on Twitch and says, makes a bit more sense. I am very thankful for your insights and readings. So, no, thank you very, very much. Thank you for letting me kind of just step in here a little bit. And I hope you get, I hope those dreams start to cease. But it was nice to pull out my old deck here. God, pulling out the deck like that. So when I'm reading, there's like, it's kind of like I play guitar also. When I get up there and play guitar, when I'm doing something live, I go away. It's just, I disassociate, and it's just the greatest feeling in the world. And when I'm doing the tarot and I'm reading the book that's in front of me, it's kind of like the same thing, but it's very emotionally draining. And I think doing the using my old deck here, because this deck has seen a lot of hard times too. I mean, it's been there through some really bad times and some really good times. So, wow. So, Anxious P on Twitch. You would like to have a reading? What kind of a reading would you like? What would you like to know, Anxious AP? Anything particular? You still there? So I would like to know if Taurus guy is coming back, and if he does, what are his intentions? I'd like to know about Taurus guy and his intentions. Taurus guy and his intentions. You know what? I am going to go with my classic Rider-Waite for this one. Taurus guy and their intentions. So let me ask you this. I am going to make 3 stacks, and I'm going to have you select one of the 3 stacks for me. Just give me 1 second here. Taurus guy and his intentions. Okay, so I am breaking this into 3 stacks, and as I always say, each one of these stacks is a thread going out to the universe. 1, 2, and 3. And each one of these threads is a different conversation, because these top cards will give us one conversation as compared to this one or this one. So this is where your inspiration, your intuition comes in. 1. So you want to get right to the bottom of it. This is what's underneath everything. So this is showing a loss. Look at all that glare. I need to get rid of that glare. This card here is the showing the loss that we have, and it's hard to recognize what we have left because we focus on the loss. The Emperor card. This is about somebody who is able to come in, take charge. It's about taking charge of a situation. This card could actually be male or female. And with the 5 of Wands, 5s are challenges. Wands are fire. So when you get a group of people together, or you get people together, there can be argument, there can be anger and everything else. But I tell you what, the Emperor does not put up with bull. Taurus. No, the Emperor, which again can be male or female. I'm going to pull out one more card, and this is the advice card. Which is the King of Swords, but reversed. So there's one card in here that's a major trump card, and that's the that's the Emperor. 4s are about stability, and that Emperor is about stability. That throne is made of stone. An anxious AP, you don't have to grow a beard or anything like that. And again, cards are gender neutral. We recognize the past. Okay? We see that. But you need to make sure you're in charge of the situation if they come back, regardless of anything, because court cards can be people, it can be us, it can be somebody else. But there's a King of Swords out there. And King of Swords reverse. Kings are of the air. Kings are the same way swords are. So you have the suit of you have the elements of air, fire, water, etc. Swords are air, kings are air. Cups are water because we're dealing with emotion. So when you have somebody who's a king and they're reversed, they are an argument waiting to happen. So, what do we need to watch out for then? We need to watch out for somebody who's wants to come in and just starts dominating the situation, because you are the Emperor. You acknowledge the loss and what's gone on, but don't even let it get to a fight. And you need to make sure that this king, because if kings are thought, kings are, the King of Swords is about it's supposed to be about clarity of thought. But don't let the King of Swords take charge, because the Emperor is stronger than the King of Swords. Does that make sense? Yeah, sounds like what happened before. Absolutely. And like I say, you are the Emperor in this situation. That is your inner self. That needs to be your focus when everything, when discussing it, when negotiating our relationships. We are number one. When negotiating our relationships, we are number one. We are the one that prevents things getting out of, not out of control, but the arguments and things like that. So put yourself number one, because you can do it. All right? And watch out for the reverse King of Swords, because they're biting. I always say that when I see a sword reversed and it's a person, because that blade can bite. All right. So, you are so welcome, Anxious AP. And so I have enough time for one more, and I see that Liberty R over here on YouTube. And anybody who's on Twitch, again, go over to YouTube, and from there, just type in MyTarot, MyTarot.org, and you will find me, and you can subscribe there. And you can see that I do pop-ups every now and then. I also do I do streamcasts where we talk about the history of tarot, going one card at a time. I've got a whole playlist over there. We've already gone through all of the tarot majors, and now we are doing the minors. And Wednesday we are doing the tens in the tarot. Well, thank you, Van Dyke. Van Dyke just gave me a compliment, and that's wonderful. Oh, you're over there now. Weren't you on oh, that was Boba. Oh. Anyway, thank you very much, Van Dyke. So yes, Liberty R, you certainly may have a work reading. Can you tell me a little bit about it, so I can decide which cards to get? What would you like to know about work? What's going on with you? What's going on with your life? What would make your life complete? Oh, and Mecca, you're very welcome, Mecca. What you got there? Are you still here, Liberty? Maybe. Ah, good. Being successful. Being successful. Well, okay. Let's see. Deck of cards. Being successful. I totally get that. You know what? For me, I always go back to the classics. You know, for this, the Tarot de Marseille, this is the deck. So this is based on the Conver deck, which is the original deck. It is the one that the Rider-Waite is based on. And so when there's a question that deals with, that's not emotion based, although being successful and taking care of family and everything absolutely is part of our emotions and part of our feelings. But for questions like this, I do like the Tarot of Marseille. So let's do this, Liberty. I got my 3 stacks here. Each one of these, a thread going out to the universe. 1, 2, and 3. Each one is a different conversation. You get to decide which direction this conversation goes. So 1, 2, or 3. Which way would you like this conversation to go, Liberty? This is where you get to use your intuition. 2, right at the heart. Okay. A work reading, being successful. Okay. Oh. The Sun. The Death card. And a knight on horseback staring at the Death card. This is really, really interesting. So, Liberty, this shows all the work that you put in, anything positive that you've been able to accomplish for yourself. The Death card is not about death or dying or anything like that. The Death card is about allowing yourself to make a transition. Okay? It's about moving forward. The death of one thing. So where we can think that we've got the Sun and everything's all this other wonderful stuff. Sometimes we need to make sacrifices, which can feel like death, to be able to move forward. And it looks like, since the court cards can be people, they could be us, they could be somebody else. This makes me wonder during the transition, something standing in your way. So it looks to me, based on this, that a willingness to let go of something to make a transition, but you're going to be challenged. There's going to be a challenge to it, and there's a face-off to it. So will you be successful? We have the advice card. And the advice card can absolutely take on the Knight of Swords. We have the Knight of Pentacles, which is you. Okay? So in this story, with the Knight of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles, Pentacles are about the earth, Pentacles are about work. Okay? Pentacles are also about making things grow. And the Knight of Pentacles then. This knight is meticulous. He rides a war horse. He's not, he rides, a plow horse instead of like a war horse. It's rearing here. This horse is steadfast. This is about being grounded and not charging. So we need to be willing to make a transition. We need to face whatever fears that may be. We need to make sure that whoever this Knight of Swords is, this person who thinks they may be smarter than us, we need to make sure that we stay grounded and we just keep doing things 1, 2, 3 at a time, and don't let the Knight of Swords push us into doing something when we're not ready, because that's what a Knight of Swords does. Okay? So with that, is that making any sense at all? Is that helping at all, Liberty? Oh, awesome. So, my friends, my phone is ringing here because the girl of my dreams is calling, which means she's getting off of work. So I am going to call her back. So that was my hour. And I want to thank everybody who showed up. And please go to, there it is, go to YouTube if you are on Twitch and subscribe. Just type in MyTarot.org into YouTube and hit enter. And you'll see my pretty little face there. Subscribe. And keep an eye out for pop-ups. And I also do a morning meditation every day, Monday through Friday, 7:15 Eastern. And I also do other videos and take questions and make videos based on suggestions and all that other wonderful stuff. So thank you all so much. I got more out of this than anybody else here, I am sure. So thank you. Have an amazing day. You are very welcome, Van Dyke, and everybody else. Have an amazing day, and I will see you tomorrow morning at 7:15 Eastern if you would like to join me in a morning reflection.